Tonight, new details emerge about the dangers some illegals crossing our borders pose to Americans and what needs to be done to better protect us. With me now, Chairman of the National Association of Border Patrol Officers, Zach Taylor. All right, good evening, Zach. How do we even know who's legal and who isn't so that we can better protect Americans?
Well, that's a very good question, Judge. Right now, we don't know who's coming across the border. The agents down in McAllen in the Rio Grande Valley sector are telling us they're only catching a small percentage of what they see comes across the border. Of that percentage, 57,000 have been unaccompanied minors, but we're not hearing about the 240,000 plus others that are coming into the United States. And I heard the sheriff mention earlier that the first groups that were coming into Massachusetts were adults. We don't know. And a lot of times, we don't even know the correct names of these people, their ages, or actually if they are citizens of the country they claim to be from. And so we're getting an unknown.
All right, and you don't have a database. Let's assume that you knew who was coming in across the border. Let's say they had a license, okay, with a date of birth and everything else. It's not like a Border Patrol agent could call Honduras, Guatemala, or El Salvador and say, listen, I got Joe Smith here. I'm going to print him right now. Can you share your database with me? That's not happening, right? Your criminal database.
No, because in comparison to the United States, those three countries are a failed state. They do not have anything like we do in law enforcement capabilities.
All right.
So it would be a waste of time.
It would be a waste of time, but, you know, some of the Border Patrol agents have been saying on Justice, telling us that, look, a lot of these kids come across and say, yeah, I'm MS-13. Now, I prosecuted for a long time, and I know who they are. So if they come in and they say, look, I'm MS-13, you and I both know what it takes to be initiated into MS-13, right? All right. So
well, yes.
Border Patrol says that this administration says, let them in. What do we do about that?
That's correct. Well, the agents are telling us that the obvious gang members that have the tats, that admit to being gang members, if they don't have a record inside the United States based on our databases, they're being released into the public. And you ought to understand that a 14 or 15-year-old MS-13 person is more dangerous than just about anything that roams our streets today. And the greatest concentration is in Washington, D.C.
And you know what's interesting, you know, when you talk about MS-13 and the danger, even the Department of Justice says that 1 out of 6 of these illegals who is let out is rearrested within a period of 3 years. So let's assume they are arrested here and they are convicted here. They're reoffending in 3 years anyway. So is the American public in danger?
Yes. And I'll tell you, the numbers are clearly on the side of that argument. We know that historically, recently, now understand that statistics are about what has happened, not about what is going to happen. So 83% of the warrants for murder in Phoenix, Arizona are for illegal aliens. 86% of the warrants for murder in Albuquerque, New Mexico are for murder. When I talked to Joe Arpaio a few months ago, he said that he had 100 illegal aliens in his jail in Phoenix awaiting trial for murder. These are not nice people. We compute that there's probably about 5 million criminal aliens inside the United States that need to be removed right now today.
And it's not going to happen. You know that, Zach. It's not going to happen. Not with this administration.
Well, we saw recently that the administration released criminal aliens that have been tried in the United States, convicted of their crimes, picked up by immigration, gone through their deportation proceedings, and were awaiting removal from the United States, and the president ordered them released on the streets of the United States.
To reoffend again. What a shame. Zach Taylor, thanks so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. And coming up, the Pope says immigrant children must be protected. So why is the Obama administration stopping religious groups from providing the aid that they want?